Hello, I'm Dr. Ethan Ogletree, Bishop Ogletree, pastor of New Destiny Praise and Worship Center. I'm delighted today with First Lady Dr. Pam Ogletree, my lovely wife. We're moving and preparing this podcast for you. It'll be 4 episodes with leadership. Remember, our podcast is the fact that we believe in John 7:38, that we're like rivers of water that flow out of your belly, that God is perpetually, continually blessing you. Here you go. By now you've heard we are departing this location. God's grace and mercy have fallen on us. It's a good flow.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, months maybe, I taught on the art of steering.
Yeah.
And in that, it covered navigate, negotiate, and narrative. And in that is a way for you and I as leaders, husbands and wives, business owners, to navigate. I want you to know, First Lady is about to explain things to you concerning we are grieving that we have to leave, but by obedience to God's words, we are leaving under His grace.
Yeah.
First Lady, how
Yes, sir.
are you doing?
Doing well, Bishop. Thank you for this opportunity to be able to speak to the members of New Destiny and to utilize what I've been trained and called to do and be a part of our church in our gather, grow, and go.
Yeah, I'm delighted for this podcast.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
one of the things we can do as a team
Yeah.
is really help the body of Christ, New D, ND.
ND.
That might be a new slogan, New D. You
New
know.
D, okay,
but
Bishop.
ND move forward.
Yeah.
Can you explain to them about all levels of us as humans
Yeah.
grieving, leaving this location?
Yeah. Thank you again for this opportunity. And I will try my best to utilize the skill sets that I have as a therapist to help us, myself included, you,
Yeah.
to help us understand what this big move is like, but also to identify what we're experiencing. And that is part of the art of navigating, because when you're helping us navigate, part of what we have to do is understand. Because you taught us about navigating me, understand new experiences.
Yeah.
And so this is going to be a new experience. And when people are introduced to new experiences, it can be from many ways. But for this move in particular, we have to be honest that many people are grieving, as you said.
Yeah.
And we're grieving because we're leaving something that's familiar
Yeah.
and going into something that's unknown.
Wow.
And when you're grieving, many people think it's about death, but grieving is about loss.
Yeah.
And even when it's a good thing, Bishop, you know, even when you want to go to a new job, a new location, get married, when you go to something new, you're leaving something old.
Right.
And part of human nature is to experience a loss because there's some confusion and unbalance of what is going on. And the key I want us to understand, even when it's a great thing, it's a God thing, there's still some emotional transitions we must go through.
Yeah, that is right on target, because as we train and learn, there's a difference in navigating an airplane to navigating a canoe.
Exactly.
And there's a difference
Exactly.
in navigating a car than navigating an 18-wheeler.
Yeah,
And so we want you to know that we can relate
absolutely.
to each person's level of navigating.
Yeah.
But remember, it is a God
God
thing.
thing.
I like that. It's great, it's good, but it's a God thing. I'll say this right quick. In the case of us navigating, I used the term before, quote, that the harvest does not wait
Right.
on anyone.
Right.
Either you will reap from it or it would wither.
Right.
Talk to us about navigating, grieving, or memory, but how to look forward to the future.
Well, I'm going to pick up where you started about the harvest, and about if we don't are prepared for it, and it's not going to wait, it'll wither. One of the things that I often say is whatever you water is going to grow. And so when you're transitioning, you can water your fear or your faith.
Oh,
And so we have to first identify what are we going to water.
yeah.
You can recognize and identify the fear because that's real because it's unknown, but you can choose what you water, and you choose to water your faith. And if I could just bring it just to the practical, life changes happen all the time. This is something that's happening with our church that may seem big, which it is to a degree, but life changes happen when if you're a parent, you raise your children, you grow them up, you're watering them, but eventually they're going to leave that home. And you can be excited about it. You could have been praying for God for their opportunities, but you still have to go through a transition of what it's like to parent children in your home versus out of your home.
Right.
And so that is just a simple explanation of whatever you water will grow. And transitions happen in life.
I really love that first. That was a great segue to this because transition is what the Bible is all about.
All about, Bishop.
It's always changing.
Always.
And when we can only imagine Abram telling his family, y'all, we have to move. And they said, where are we going? I don't know. And
Yes, sir.
And he has to navigate.
Yes,
but the
sir.
question was also, how did he negotiate to get the children, the servants,
Yeah.
and his wife
Yeah.
to hear God?
Yeah.
And they never knew God.
Yeah.
Share that with us about having faith to hear God.
Yeah.
Maybe when fear or something overpowers you
Yeah.
in this navigating and negotiating
So,
transition.
Bishop, I love the Old Testament, so I love that you brought that up. And in my, as you say, sanctified imagination, when Abraham or any of the old patriarchs that we read about, every patriarch we read about, Abraham, Joseph, Moses, all of them had to be in a place where they had to communicate with God. And God gave them direction, but they had to communicate and trust God with the direction. And they didn't know where they were going. They didn't know what following the direction was going to do. They had to first negotiate within themselves to who to go to. Then they talked to God, and then they chose to trust God, believe God. And one of the things I think I would have for New Destiny to understand, you are a man of God. We trust and believe you hear from God, but we're all individually responsible to talk to God. And so when we talk to God, this movement for New Destiny is evidence of movement in individual lives. When Moses moved and the children of Israel moved, there was movement in the families. There was movement within the people. And so the negotiating is talking to God about where you are, being honest, and then letting God let you move from where you need to go, where you are to where you need to go.
Wow, I like that. Faith in transition is never easy.
Never easy.
And we, as an individual but a group, have to negotiate. Listen, I don't know which side of the brain you want to listen to, which ear it goes through, if it's your heart. But by faith, we walk by faith and not by sight. Can you give us a closing statement to the people, maybe in the area of controlling the narrative?
Wow.
When you think about the patriarchs
Yeah.
of going from one location, because God don't give all the details,
No, sir.
to the other location.
Well, I think, Bishop, the closing that I would have, and it's personal for myself because, as you stated, we've moved before. We've moved homes. We moved from the school to this building, moving from this building. And what I've learned that I would like to encourage is that every move, every step with God is to grow us. And it's to mature us. And it's important that we be honest with God about our feelings, any uncertainties, any anxiety. But faith only grows when you put to something to test it.
Yeah.
And you said it earlier, sometimes we get comfortable and we think our faith is good. And so I think I would encourage New Destiny members, wherever you are, don't focus on just what's happening with the physical building of New Destiny. Ask God what he's trying to mature in your life. What is he trying to grow and expand in your life? And as we do that and trust God, faith over fear will override, because we're going to water the faith.
Yeah.
And we're going to diminish the fear. And that's just in any area of our life, our finances, our marriage, our relationships. This is just an example of what we need to do in every area of our life.
Yeah. I want to encourage you, keep up with our podcast. This is podcast 1 on transition. It's about development of character, development of faith.
Yeah.
We're not saying that everybody will go, that there are bad people. We understand that. This is listening to the high call of God,
My goodness.
that God stepped in through the art of steering. We're doing what God has called us to do, to navigate, negotiate, and to really help you understand the narrative of why God is taking New Destiny to high heights. God bless you, and may God keep you.
God bless you.